Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Everyone having a good day so far? Very nice.
Morning, morning, brother.
Hello.
You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Good.
It was a pretty good weekend. Laid back, relaxed. Had a buys on GJ here earlier on, like half an
I
hour
didn't.
ago. Closed it. Then I can say, got him. But
Morning.
I'm hoping for GJ to continue bullish, but it has to go through this area here, 133,800.
Good morning.
Hey, Vincent, how are you?
Good. How are you, bro?
Good. Good. Man, I'm waiting for this price to continue moving bullish.
Oh, it will. It will.
Like will, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it will.
it's gonna go bullish. We're heading off to 134 even.
Or fill the gap.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like if we break through 133,800 here, we're going up to fill the gap.
As long as this hourly closes above, and we're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I took buys earlier on. Now I'm waiting for the second set of buys.
Very nice. Very
Hmm.
nice. Volume should kick in and it should head up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Just gonna wait here. The best thing to do would be to see a bullish candle forming on the 15 minute and creating some sort of a base over here so that we can continue going up. Because right now, if I take a buy, the stop is going to be bigger, like a
Too big. Too
22
big.
pip stop. Yeah. Earlier on, when I took the buy, the 15-minute candle was right over here, and I put a stop below this candle, went up, closed at like 10, 12 pips, and now just waiting again. Bro, the best scenario would be if this 30-minute closes around this size here.
Exactly.
That'd
Yeah.
be best.
That would be nice.
Yes. Just slap a stop loss below this candle, take a buy, and just straight up.
Damn. That would be nice.
Oh, you know what? If the 15-minute candle here closes bullish, that'll be a good indication to take a buy on the 30-minute here as well before it closes. Anticipating it to continue moving up. Because, man, ideally, this previous 30-minute candle, it did close above here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, just a close above that, and we're
Yeah.
going all the way up.
This is such a crucial area here.
And the volume is kind of low too, so
Yeah. How big is this range? This is a 30 pip range. Oh, the range is smaller. Black bull markets.
Friday today, so we're going to be kicking through some analysis on our charts.
Oil.
Okay,
oil
I'll
is-
go dollar CAD first, yeah.
Yeah.
0.1 lot, we partially closed the trade, and now you can let it run. So for example, I'll just do a quick small trade on this just to show you guys quickly how to do it.
All right, perfect. It's coming back. 15-minute candle is about to close. Ooh, wow. Oil dropped below $20. This is awesome. I'm going to be buying tons and tons of oil. Comes comes lower again. I'm getting in oil futures.
Didn't you buy recently?
Yeah, that was like a one lot I had. I closed it, but now I'm going to seriously buy oil.
What's that?
What
Yeah,
what got you so interested in oil?
because this never happens. This opportunity on oil is amazing because, like I'd have my get out price at like $5 on oil, so
Mm-hmm.
I probably risk like 10,000 something like that on that, and the upside is huge,
Yeah.
huge upside.
Wow.
Like back to $50 a barrel, $60 a barrel. I mean, what's happening right now? It's not fundamentally driven at all. This has nothing to do with Russia or China or Saudi Arabia or Iran. This is just this Corona thing. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna
Yeah,
go back.
David's really into oil, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna go back up. So this is gonna be like a 7-8 month hold. Maybe even a year.
Yeah. Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Because think about it, man. This is the recession. This is not a fundamentally driven recession. This is a virus-driven recession.
Yep.
Like interest rates are low. They're encouraging people to borrow more money. Canada, like I was reading about recession yesterday, and the main cause of recession is when people have a lot to spend, which means like they have a lot of credit, right? And debt increases. So
Mm-hmm.
now Canada is encouraging people to like take more loans that for 1 year you pay no interest.
It's insane.
Can you imagine?
The problem is we were in such a bubble for 12 years that you know the virus did cause it. This isn't all the virus. It was that we were in such a bubble where the government's spending more money than they have, people are spending more money than they have, and the virus is just that prick that popped the bubble. And I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it's about to be, but it's pretty insane.
Yeah, so these are opportunities which we may not see in the next 8, 9, 10 years.
Hmm.
Like when this thing is on the rise right now, and man, property is going to be cheap. So many things are going to be up for grabs.
So much opportunity.
Yeah, people who are smart, they've put money aside to just act on those opportunities. People
Yep.
who are dumb, they will not act. And
That
like a year from now, they'll say, "Oh, I wish I would have bought."
that's the problem with me. Like I knew this was coming, but I don't have the resources to take advantage of those opportunities right now. As far as buying stock, buying property. I knew at some point this was about to happen, and I wanted to be ready for it, but I haven't been. So that's a kicker.
Oh man, this is gonna be amazing.
Damn, $20 a barrel.
What's this chart over here? Oh, wrong chart. Oh, no more buys for GJ. I guess this thing is rejecting. Just gotta wait.
That's a major resistance right there.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
I might take some sales if this gets some more confirmation.
Wait for the hourly to close.
Okay, let's take a look at this chart here. GU currently prices in a range, waiting for the break and close above the range. Look in the future. Yeah, I mean, if this support breaks, you can take sells perfect. But if this 30-minute close is bullish like this, man, these wicks are destinations. Price is gonna head up. It's pretty good. All right. Has GJ created a low on the 30-minute here at 133.580? If it has created a low, so 17, 18 pip stop, 26 pip gain. Yeah, that'll look good. 25 pip gain and 20 pip stop.
Yeah, looks good.
Someone said you could take out a loan and invest the loan. Loans are in high demand. They're in high supply right now. Check oil, please. No, you need to send a chart on oil. Send a chart. All right, what's this? My entry. I'm thinking if this goes above this area, I should close. Thoughts? Well, if you think you should close, then you should close. Two things I cannot recommend on your take profit and your stop loss. Well, stop loss I can recommend on, but where to take profits, that's all on you. All right, looks like GJ is making a move here.
So I'm about to take some positions.
Summon the bullish candle now. All right, 15-minute candle is about to close. New 15-minute candle about to start. Everything is bullish. It just makes sense for this to now continue to 134 even. Let's look at the 5-minute. Oh yeah, big rejection. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Is he in this trade? Yes, I'm in this trade. You know what the problem is? People have a big problem with execution. They don't want to execute. It seems like they want someone there to move their hand onto the buy or sell button and click it. You know, every morning we come over here, we give out ideas. I give out ideas of stop loss, take profits, and I don't know, just need to execute.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go, GJ. Let's take a look at this chart here. Candles close bearish inside the range, take sells. Perfect. But if they start closing above the range, take buys. It goes to like 950, 955, 134. It's awesome.
What a Monday.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It should continue flying. It's kind of like it's flapping its wings right now and it's trying to you know, like a little bird falls off the nest, starts flapping its wings to go up. This move down was a jump from the nest and started flapping its wings. Can you show stop loss on this order? I already told you what the stop is going to be. You know, this was the entry right over here, and this was the stop right over here below this wick, and you know, like take profit at like 134. Sending my first chart. Can you have a look? Let's see. First chart and the wrong chart. Congratulations. NFP. Oh, there are no news today. Going on. Wow, ADP negative 125. It's going to be worse than 125. Oh, GJ's moving a little bit. Once it crosses 133,900, that'll be perfect.
Off to the races.
Off to the races.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Shane, we all good?
So, Chris.
What up?
What up?
Man, NFP is going to be wild.
It's gonna be an interesting week.
Man, interesting.
Mhm.
Expecting negative 81,000 number.
Yeah, a bit of a shock to the system, that one, I think.
Last time numbers were negative was in 2010. Wow, this was what?
Okay.
Okay, GJ, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
Oh.
Wow, Vincent, I thought GJ moved like 50 pips.
Yeah.
What's since
Looks
2000?
like we lost the move on GJ. It looks like.
Yeah. So this was when Bush was in power, right? 2009.
No, Obama was in office at that point.
2009. Wow. This is just after the '08 crash.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
wow.
those are some nice numbers.
These are garbage. Damn.
Gradually climbed out of it.
And then Trump came, and Trump's gonna be like, let me get this. Let me take this wheel over here of the country.
Hmm.
See, 15 minutes about to come down. Okay, so my entry is right over here, 780. How do you move to 780? Yeah, 780. That's my trade right there.
Ooh.
Very nice entry. Oh no, actually, it's not a nice entry. I was explaining this. You can enter right over here. You can have a stop down over here. Any trades in so far? I don't know. I have no idea if we have any trades on him right now. So just by looking at the charts here, the London session was pretty wild. I think it.
Oh, mate, don't. I took a loss this morning. Yeah, it wasn't the most fun. It ranged in there pretty well on 30-minute.
Yeah, I can see how it was deceiving.
I kind of took it near enough exactly same type of trade you did on the 15. At where was it? Yeah, somewhere around there, I think it was. And expecting anticipation of a break of that, and it started on the 5-minute looked real nice, and then it literally turned around and just killed me out straight away, which was nice. But there's definite options on the 30-minute down at the lower levels. I think somewhere around there's a good entry. On 30-minute though.
Morning, boys. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, listen, I found out this Chris has got a lemur in his back garden, man.
A lemur.
He's got a lemur in his back garden.
Llamas.
Llama, what is it? Llama.
Well, you got llamas in your back garden.
They're just in the garden
Is
area.
that to protect you from the corona?
Yeah, I don't like them, man. They're nasty bits of kit.
You're
They're
trying to do some
nasty.
black magic over there with llamas.
No, it's just in case you run out of food, man. You know? No, I'm gonna do an Instagram thing at some point. I'll get some pictures.
Good morning.
Hey, good
What's up,
morning.
man?
So this 30 minutes is awesome because it's closing above this resistance. You know, price came down to my entry over there, and you know, it's so far looking good. So we should continue up here. 133, 134. Best would be 134, 100. That would be best. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring my stop up and closer as this candle comes to an end.
I mean, if we get to that point, that's daily candle flip level as well, which should look really good on daily.
Let's take a look here. Look at daily. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's a gap down. One-hour candles also closing bullish. That's good. How did you draw that resistance through the wicks? Oh, I just saw that the candles were respecting this area. They were closing below it, so I drew a rectangle over here. That's it. So I'm going to close 50% of my position over here, because I don't feel comfortable
Being in a drawdown.
Yes. So I closed 50% of my position because candle is not doing what I expected it to do. I expected it to continue moving bullish, but it's closing back below this resistance. So rather than take a full loss, I want to take a 50% loss.
Yeah, that was my mistake this morning. I should have closed half on the way back, and I kind of held it out, and I was like, and then I was like, damn it, too late.
Yeah. Also the 1 hour here too. See now it's got 3-4 minutes to close. If it closes below 133.750, that means it's closing below resistance. So it would then at that point make no sense to hold the buy once the candle closes below resistance. You know, because logically it has to close above resistance to continue up.
This candle closes as a doji. That would be nice.
Ooh, what's this chart here? Consolidating here now, waiting for candle to close. First target here. Yeah, I think buys are pretty choppy. Buys here are pretty choppy because you got all this consolidation here. I think a good buy will be above this level here. Sell if you break the support. So you really have to zoom in like this to see the candles. You know, like a zoomed out chart like this, it just, I don't know, can't see the candles. So when you look at the candlestick chart, you have to look at the candles themselves. Oh, what's this? Target if break resistance. Oh, someone else is in the buy as well.
$30 minutes, looking good.
Yeah, it's coming back now. It's pretty good. Maybe a re-entry.
I mean, it doesn't hurt if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, you know. I mean, just it's gonna go up. Just forget.
Probably another entry.
Mother on the beat. DJ on the beat.
That 5-minute support held real nice.
Yeah. What's this chart? This is support farmed US 60. Oh wow, GJ's moving.
Yes.
Come on.
Perfect.
Come on, GJ.
All the way up. Let's go.
All the way up. Made me pussy out on one of the positions.
Should have just held it.
I re-entered. That's okay.
Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Come on.
yes. Look at it. And close out.
Can we get 134? 134? Can we get 134? We are at 950, 970, 134. Come on. Ooh, nice. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Amazing trade.
Stops at break even.
Close positions.
Yes. That's letting it run.
Beautiful. Nice 24 pip trade.
Nice trade off the Monday, eh?
Yes, first trade of the Monday.
What a beautiful, beautiful trade.
Amazing.
Yeah, good work, man.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Ah,
Gonna
perfect.
continue.
Got a little bit of a drawdown, but it's okay. We won.
It wasn't a lot though, was it really?
No, like a 2-3 pip
No.
drawdown.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, no.
Yeah. Well, YouTube, if you guys caught this trade, just give a like on the stream because we all made money.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's some money. So the early bird got the worm today. Someone showed Monty a chart and now they want me to see it.
What's that? I see a lot of chats this morning.
Buy. Enter
Oh, he's been
buy.
playing it off at, yeah, I remember this one. He's been playing it off a trend line and taking like rejection levels. It's a pretty interesting way of doing it.
Oh, nice.
Just adding positions as he moves up. It's pretty interesting.
Alright. Trade 1 GJ buys. 20 pips. Perfect. Done for the day. My day has ended right here.
Same. Now we just chilling.
Yeah, now just gonna review charts and there's a magic move on magic keys that I do all the time. It's one, I press the button close custom and then I press stop loss at entry.
Same.
I just do bam bam, that's it, quick time, bam bam,
It's just two
Just-
buttons.
Just
that's
two
not,
buttons.
that's not a magic move, man. That's a special. That is the move, right?
Yeah,
That's it. Close. It's break even.
that's a fatality.
Trust.
Like in Mortal Kombat, finish him. Close custom stop loss at entry. Boom, boom.
Give him my 75%.
Yeah, give my 75%.
It's as easy as that, though.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of which, did you? Someone asked me this morning. You back out of stock now? You said you got some more coming soon.
The what?
August. Someone asked me this morning actually
Oh.
about them being out of stock again. Is it
Yeah.
something you said? When are you planning the next?
Yeah, they're coming by mid-April.
Okay, thank you.
They're in production right now.
No problem, man. Cheers for that.
Yeah, they're coming by mid-April. Man, people are just buying them. It's so annoying. I mean, because they're all pre-orders.
Nah, it's good. It's good. It's a good innovation, man.
Yeah, next batch we're ordering like a larger number because,
Mhm.
because right now we're in a cycle of pre-orders, so we want to have a lot of products on hand.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Cool.
Yeah.
That just gives me a good idea date-wise because I get that question a lot.
Why you always trade in GJ? Because I'm comfortable trading GJ. I know GJ better than any other player in the currency market. GPGPY is, man, it's amazing. Why did you not go to break even on the GJ trade earlier? Because I don't know. I was still confident it's gonna go up. Like when it came down to my entry went in drawdown, the candle was still open, and I was still confident it's gonna go up. That's why I closed 50% of my positions instead of closing everything and then re-entering when price started to move up.
I was pretty confident it was gonna go up.
Yeah. So just waiting on GJ now. Well, right now, GJ has tapped into a resistance here, right? See this box? This is why this box is here. This is a resistance. You would want price to break above this resistance to take a buy to go up to 134,300. So if someone has positions from down here, you're probably at break even. So that's pretty good. Because I know I'm at break even from the position I have from 133,826. Let me just put that up over here. 820. Right here. Oh. So eventually, without me getting stopped out, I wanted to continue moving up to 134,300.
Looks like you're gonna get stopped out.
What's this? Oh, GJ 30 minutes. Looking for a close above resistance of 133. Oh, nice. Looks like it played out. Oh, got stopped out.
Yeah. But then it's gonna go back up.
Well, that was a great attempt.
Yeah.
How many pips do you use for a stop loss? Having a stop loss, it's not about the number of pips. It's about a level. You know, because if you say, oh, I'm going to use a 10 pip stop, and if you enter buy over here, first of all, there's no buy right now because we're in the range now. You know, so 10 pip stop is going to be right over here, and it makes no sense because you're going to get stopped out, right? If you're looking for a buying opportunity, now you're waiting for a support to form around this area. If you get a support formed at this area, then you can execute a buy and then say that, okay, we're going to continue to move up. But right now, price moved up. This was your trade and rejected this area now, and now it's back in the range. So you'll have to wait for either to range to break up above 134, or you would want a support to be formed down over here. GG has gotten harder for me to trade. I think something gets harder for you to trade if you start over trading it. You know, if you start really over analyzing it. Like gold is a great example here. Now, gold, if you look at gold, candles are bullish. We're creating a support here. I know spreads are high, but it's just for educational purposes. Now, when you're looking at gold to look for a buy, you're not going to say, okay, I'm going to have a 15 pip stop. You're going to look at the candles and you say, okay, maybe I want to put my stop below the previous candle, which is going to be 30 pips, in an attempt to maybe get like 50 pips for price to come out to 1630. And when you look at the 30-minute, same thing here. You're like, okay, now based on the 30-minute time frame, maybe my stop is going to be around 1620. That's below the previous candle, and then target is going to be up over here, 1630.
Not the safest play, but
Can you tell me about your broker? How big is your account and leverage? Yes, so my brokerage is in my description. My account is $25. My leverage is 10 to 1. Why does it matter how big someone's account is?
What kind of question is that?
That's like saying, hey, how much you got in your bank account? What bank do you use? Ooh, what's this? USD CAD 30-minute. You got resistance here. Waiting for a clear break, close above this, take a buy. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. So even if you're looking at this trade, now you're expecting price to respect the previous candle's low here. Break up, create a support. Somewhere creates a support here and then continues on. This target here and then second target. Yeah, looks good.
Hey, Rakeel, I got a quick question about magic keys.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the predicament where you can only zoom in and out? You can't like open calc or any of the other functions on the magic keys, but everything's connected.
Yeah.
Do you know how to solve that?
Yeah, at the bottom there's going to be a journal tab. It's going to tell you what the issue is.
Okay. Oh, journal. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, do you see it?
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's actually a friend of mine that has magic keys, and he's having some difficulties with it.
Yeah, he needs to read the manual. That's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so all the information is there in the journal, in that installation guide. Yeah, because it shows you the common errors it gets. So when you scroll down, the most common error is explained on page 4. It's basically you just need to is it a MacBook? Like he has a MacBook?
I don't think so. He's actually on the YouTube, so he's listening to you right now. He's trying to figure out. He said he doesn't.
Yeah, you just need to know what the error is and go to experts tab at the bottom, and yeah, like there's the installation guide there.
It's simple. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I had a similar thing with mine. It was the library edition things.
Yeah.
The files, that thing. So I'd look at that one. I would.
I had the same issue when I first got it, but Gabriel's been a big help. You guys
What's
update that thing like once a week.
yeah?
It's awesome.
GJ when buy. You- for for a GJ to be a buy, you need a support formed over here because this was resistance. Now you need a support formed for price to go up. If you miss this move up, then you're waiting for price to break above this area and continue up to the next area, which is right over here. But buying right now, I think it's going to be it's not going to be a great idea because candle is bearish. So you can't buy right now.
Yeah, this was a major resistance, which should be a nice support. That's what I'm waiting for.
Let's take a look over here. What's this? UJ 30 minutes. Sell break of bearish candle. Yeah, makes sense. So basically you can say that okay, price made a low, came up, created a resistance, and I think this could have been your better entry candle. Anticipating it to move down. What's the longest you've had a trade? Like 2 hours? Oh. Waiting for price to settle after strong bullish move. Waiting for this high to get broken. Or this 1 hour low to get broken to take sells for the 4 hour trade. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's take a look at 4 hour. Yeah, that makes sense. I think a better sell is going to be if this candle starts to close below 133,750 and then you have a retest of this level by another bearish candle to continue down to 133,300. You know, so now you're looking at it from a buy and selling perspective. You know, now the only buy is going to be if candles start creating support over here to continue up. The only sell is going to be if candles start closing below 133,750. You know, so you're mapping out two ideas at the same time. What do you call an area that has been ground for both recent support and resistance? That area does not exist. Because at any given time, an area cannot be a support and a resistance in that instance. How many time frames should we use to analyze trades? I think you should look at all the time frames. All the time frames, you know, because before I took this buy, I looked at the 4 hour. 4 hour was bullish. I looked at the 1 hour. 1 hour was bullish. It was pushing above 133,750. I looked at the 30 minute. 30 minute, this candle closed above candles to the left. So I was like, okay, it could continue up. I looked at the 15 minute. 15 minute also closed bullish. So I re-entered when this candle came down. And then just started to move up, and as it moved up, I took profit. So now if you look at the 15-minute candle, the previous 15-minute candle closed with no wick at the bottom. When the candle closes with no wick at the bottom, this means there's no range for the next candle to continue down. That also means that there's a higher chance that this candle may close bullish, and you might have another opportunity to take a buy to continue up and eventually 134,300. But you would want this candle to close above 133,750. Man, look at this gold. This 15-minute candle broke the previous high. This is just, the way these candles are forming, this just screams we are going to go up. This is the elevator which you just push the penthouse floor and the elevator goes boom. Supersonic speed. Boom. Anyone watching silver today? Oh, I don't know.
It's definitely going back up.
Yep. Looking for rejection around here. Strong bullish candle. 1 arrow, 2 arrow, 3 arrow. Yeah, makes sense. I think you can adjust your yellow line here, because it seems like you have your yellow line drawn from this area over here. You could probably have it drawn over here, because now this becomes your, this is your recent level. Ooh, looks like the gold elevator is crashing. Someone turned off the power up here and down. Which pair do you plan on trading during NFP? I think it's going to be USD/JPY or gold. Like if gold spreads are not that high, it's going to be USD/JPY. Price struggling to break this resistance. Looking for price to break the support and take a sell. Perfect. The zones are drawn. Awesome. Your target is awesome. Your second target zone is perfect. I mean, this is just great. This is just great. I mean, chart work, right, Vincent?
Yeah, very nice.
So nice. Look at this.
It's nice.
Yeah, I like that chart too.
Yeah. Yeah, so beautiful.
I like the color.
Yeah, I like the labeling here.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt knows his stuff.
See that candle with no wick? Beautiful.
I would have entered it on the 5-minute.
Oh. What's the best leverage to use? I think leverage is a very misunderstood term. The thing is, like, if you have low leverage, that just means that you can only risk, that you can't risk a lot at any given time. If you have low leverage, like leverage actually restricts you from risking a lot of your capital at any given time. If you have high leverage, then that allows you to risk a lot at one time. So that's what leverage is. Like people who are risk averse, they use less leverage because they don't want to have the ability to risk a lot. And people who are not risk averse like myself, they want to have bigger leverage because at times they want to risk more. So it all depends on you, like what you like. If you like risking more, risking less, I'd say start with less. Like right now my leverage is 400 to 1. I had like 500 to 1, but I lowered it to 400 to 1 because I wasn't using it. I know you don't like the one. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Roger, like when I started, it was one of the things that kept on confusing me was the leverage. And the thing is, I always now say, I tell people to start off low and then build yourself up. It just means that you can open up, you can't open up as a bigger position. So the higher you go up, you can open up bigger positions. And but the thing is, it's how much you're willing to lose. And most of the time with the beginners, they blow accounts anyway. So, you're sort of, if you've got less leverage, you can't open up so many positions. It sort of acts as a safety net a little bit,
Yeah, exactly.
Trade within your limit, and so you know you can only go 4.5, and so you stay within that limit. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to stay within your risk when you have a higher leverage. Ooh, someone's got a question on their entry. Damn. If 30-minute close like this, would it be good to enter at close? Yeah, I think it's going to be good to enter. It's going to be great to enter. But then again, then you run into an issue that, okay, if price is, because it's essentially what's happening with this break is that it's possibly making a high. You know, when price makes a high, it's going to look left and see there's a rejection here. It might come down to create a support and then continue going up. So you have two choices, whether you take an impulse entry with the anticipation we're going to continue moving up, or you wait for a high to be formed and then a support to be formed, and then you take a buy to retest the high. You know, so there are two choices you can make. Wow, gold spiked down. Jesus. Uncle Ted, will you be doing another? Uncle Ted is not even here, man. Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
It's everywhere. Morning, Ted.
Morning.
Morning.
How was your little tipple last night? Good?
Yeah, it was
Nice.
good.
Yeah, nice. That was a good choice.
I was so close to enter that trade you had on GJ, and I went to go make coffee.
Oh, did you enter?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I had buys yesterday on weekend.
Carol.
Yes, that's Tiger King.
That's hilarious.
This guy's a trip.
How do you feel about the quarter point theory? I have no idea what that is. All I know is to take a buy, price goes in profit, close profits, come back the next day. Could you check out this chart? Oh. And if my runner was still in, that runner would go completely off the charts. Because once we break above 134, we're coming up 134, 300. Minute kind of close with no wick at the bottom. There was no range. Higher probability of it going up as it starts to move up. Look at the 1 hour. 1 hour hasn't really gone bullish at all. The first 30 minutes of this candle was just bearish. So now you can expect the 1 hour candle to continue pushing bullish for the next 30 minutes. This 15 minute wants to break the high of the previous 15 minute, and it's gone.
Off to the races.
Off to the races.
Maybe like 30-minute wick.
Yep. There we go. It's broken the high. Now the probability of it continuing up, it becomes more and more.
My God.
Yep. There's a high probability now.
Hey, rakeel, if you look left on the daily candle, there's lots of clean traffic once it breaks, once it fills that gap.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Morning, T. What's up, man?
Morning, bro. How's things?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. Nice weekend.
How is everyone?
All good.
Good to hear, man. It's nice.
You know, yesterday I was looking at the weekly chart with somebody, and what we were talking about was that since this previous weekly candle went bullish, you know, and it's coming into an area where there's some sort of consolidation happening from like July and August there, and weekly made a low. There could be a very, very big chance that the weekly is just trying to go up to make kind of like a resistance and come down to retest the low.
Yeah.
But that was like
Yeah, because fundamentally, I don't see I don't see why the pound's getting stronger. So yeah, what you said makes sense about it going up and then coming all the way back down.
I think we would start the quarter and the new month, but just got to keep following what you see on the screen, right?
Yeah, that's like the higher time frame thing.
Yeah, this 30 minutes cozy now. Bullish.
So strong bullish, man. What do you mean? Look at that rejection. The only thing is,
I just said that.
yeah. There we go. 15-minute broke the high, closed above, closed with no wick at the bottom. Oh, on the top. Yeah, this should still continue on to 134.300. Now we've broken above this resistance.
Hourly flip.
Yeah, hourly is also flipping bullish.
Yep.
Perfect. This is beautiful. If someone's taking a buy over here, you need to understand that your stop loss is going to be around 133.740. That's going to be your stop. So, because, you know, price can wick in this range and then go up as well. So you need to take that into account. Because if you're taking a buy, your TP is obviously 134.300, but then your stop is also down over here. Alright. Here we go, we're moving up. 134.100 coming in.
Damn. Oh. No fun.
We did a complete breakdown from down over here.
Yep. We even took positions going all the way up.
Yeah. Gold did a very, very deep retest over here in someone's colon. Now it's starting to go back up now. if you have a red candle at resistance which doesn't break the low of the previous green candle, would it still be a valid buy above the wick of the red candle? Yes. So above the high of the previous candle, yes. So something happened right over here. This 15-minute broke the high of the previous 15-minute. So this increases the probability of price to continue moving bullish. Because you gotta think of it in probabilities. If this bullish candle closed below the red candle, the high over here, then the probability wouldn't have been that high. But it closed above, so now the probability of it heading up higher increases. Why did you say that you see GJ falling on higher time frame? Well, you need to go look at the weekly and monthly and then let me know. Imagine someone takes a sell. GU. I don't understand what's going on here. Is this a buy stop? Is this an entry? No idea. See, this chart makes no sense. This chart makes a lot of sense. It's labeled, there are zones, we understand what this person is thinking. Over here, this person he thinks we are mind readers, or I can read his mind right now early in the morning, but that's not gonna happen. I can't read minds. Could you kindly explain the reasoning behind the massive bearish candle? Yep, so one reason was that this candle closed below resistance, and I guess the next candle decided to go bearish all the way down. There's no reason. Sometimes price does things, it just does things, Like the thing is, market is always right. So this was a deep retest. If you look on the 1 hour, this was a wick formed on the 1 hour. If you look on the 30-minute, this was a wick formed on the 30-minute. But one thing that you're really looking out for is that the candles on the 30-minute, they were making lower, they were making higher lows. So that's where the stops are, below the 30-minute candle wick. So if you're taking a buy over here, your stop is below the 30-minute candle wick. Because if you want price to continue up, you want price to make lower highs, higher highs, and higher lows. That's how price trends up. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Push it. Come on.
Holy
134, 300. Oh, nice. Got it.
GCAT.
Holy.
Awesome.
If I still had a advantage.
That was a nice trade.
That was beautiful.
Let's go.
Came right to the tip over here. 134,
Hey,
300.
I called the gap fill.
Hey, Rakeel.
Hey.
Did you know that that Canada has two of the most overpriced property markets in the whole world, being Vancouver and Toronto?
Oh yeah, we knew that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they got paid. They got paid for it.
That bubble's getting ready to burst. There's gonna be
that's what
people.
I'm talking about.
Trust me, I'm going to be playing Monopoly in like 6 months here in Canada.
People are going to be on the roads, man.
Yes. Yeah. Do not pass gold. Do not collect $200 because Canada's going to burst like a bubble.
Yeah, straight to jail. That's it.
Yeah, really bad. From the research I've been doing, it's going to be like the Americans, but like Canadian version.
Oh, it's going to be a billion times worse. And you know what the best part is? Nobody sees it coming.
Nobody sees it coming.
No, they all think because so the thing is in Canada we only have 5 or 6 major banks, and they're all the reason why we didn't have as hard as a crash in 2008 compared to the U.S. is because our banks are more centralized. So in the United States, anyone can open a bank in the United States, right? Because each state has their own banking rules, and that's sort of the reason why there's multiple banks in multiple jurisdictions. But it also makes it very hard for you to do work, right? Because you have the bank, say for example, the bank in New York versus the Bank of Los Angeles, right? They're two independent banks. Whereas in Canada, you don't necessarily have that. Like we have like Royal Bank of Canada. If you went to say Vancouver, you could still, it's the same bank essentially that it would be in Toronto. So you have the same features and everything. So it's very centralized in terms of the way that they run the banking in Canada. I mean, that's a positive and a negative. Positive was in 2008 we didn't get hit with the crash because the government was able to sort of use their banking policies to help prop the banks up. But now the problem is, with what's happening in the world, it's not a financial crisis. It's a crisis that was built on something totally different. So now the banks and every sort of institution and, you know, obviously most industries are being hit in a way that has nothing to do with an economic impact. Like there wasn't a natural disaster that there wasn't a financial disaster in the markets that created this panic. The panic created the financial disaster. So now there's no way to solve that. Like you can't turn around and say, well, you know, the banks have been performing poorly, so we'll help them. It's every industry that's getting hit. So that's where the elastic band theory of, you know, we're just going to get hit harder is going to come in, and the ripple effect of that, of this current event, is not been felt yet. Like we've only seen the initial push. You haven't seen the out or the what's the word I'm looking for?
The breakout.
The breakout of this problem. Like the ripple effect hasn't happened yet.
People think it happens because they've seen the stock market crash, and usually for economic crises, the stock market's crashing in certain individual industries. Sorry,
that's right.
Indicator. But in this situation, it's like the wind before the hurricane gets there. Like
yes.
You think, the water's yet to come, man.
That's right. And people don't realize that, and a lot of people that are in this current that are hurting right now, they haven't felt it yet. Like you haven't felt it yet. And these little stimulus packages, like the government's giving out $2,000 a month here for the next few months here in Canada. People in Canada don't have savings. Like everyone's mortgaged up to their eyebrows because, you know, especially in Vancouver and Toronto, home prices are so expensive. So figure people last year who got into the housing market, they all got into the housing market saying, well, you know, like I have a job, the economy's going well, blah, blah, blah. This quarter, the economy has been destroyed, and you've lost your job no matter what sector you're in, where a lot of times if you were in one sector that was lagging, the other sectors were okay. So, you know, say for example, the I don't know, like the auto industry as an example, you know, they take a bit of a hit because no one's buying cars. There's a bit of a ripple effect, but if you're working in a bank, your job's safe. Like there's no issue there because the financial sector is doing okay, but the auto sector isn't. I mean, I know that's a bad example because the auto sector affects a lot of other sectors, but just from a hypothetical argument one-to-one sake, that's how I would view this. But now every sector is being hit at the exact same time with something that's a variable that cannot be controlled. Like you can't, like as much as people are doing it, they're injecting money into the economy. That's not solving the crisis. That's not solving the pandemic, because the pandemic is a virus, which is a health issue. You can't pour money into a health issue. A health issue is you know, about treatment, recovery, prevention, right? Like they put $30 million into an advertising campaign in Canada to tell you how to wash your hands. If people don't wash their hands, that $30 million is useless. Like it's not like in an economic sense where, you know, a bank has lost 20 million, but if we give them 20 million, they'll be able to support themselves and sort of regenerate and pay back that loan. There's no way to regenerate or prevent a virus if someone doesn't follow directions.
You know, something that I've been looking into, Ted, you know, obviously I send you a lot of stuff via Facebook, is the Airbnb industry.
Oh yeah.
Now, a lot of those people that have Airbnbs, what they did when Airbnb trade was good, like last year and the year before, is they bought like 7 or 8 mortgages based on the back of them always getting filled out.
Yes.
And now what's happening is all of those mortgages are beginning to default, and there's a worldwide phenomena of people with Airbnbs basically not being able to pay the mortgage. So that whole thing is going to go boom. So yeah, we're looking at some real good opportunities over the next year. I think it's way too early now. But
Right. It's gonna hit later on. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity later on. The issue is I think we're gonna see probably at least a 10 to 15% correction in home prices in Toronto and Vancouver, if not worse.
wow. 10 to 15%.
Yeah, at least.
Down from where it is now.
Oh yeah, at least.
Because from my understanding, what I've been researching into like banks and housing markets and stuff is, well, primarily Hong Kong's the leading indicator for this housing market crash that's going to go on worldwide.
Yes.
And that's because the Chinese are the biggest real estate investors overseas in the world.
Yes. And what happened here in Canada is we taxed all foreign investment, which eased the prices of homes in Toronto and Vancouver, especially, to get rid of that investment, so that people in their own provinces or their own cities could afford investment in the prices of homes. And now there hasn't. I think what you may find is there's going to be a lot of issues with all the pre-existing construction. So as an example, there's about 200 cranes up right now in Toronto. We have the most cranes up, I think, in the world, or like the top 10 in the world in terms of development for condominiums. And a lot of those are based on pre-construction sales. And a lot of those pre-construction sales are based on deposits and ability to get mortgages. So I think that's the sector where it's going to be a buying frenzy. It's going to be a buyer's market in that sector, because a lot of people that are buying condos, just from a, I guess, logical standpoint, are entering the market for the first time. So first-time home buyers, young people. Now all these jobs are wiping people out. All those pre-construction condos, people are going to just default on them, right? You put a deposit down for 25K or 100K, that deposit is non-refundable. They're just going to walk away from it because they won't be able to receive the mortgage, because they won't have the money because of the fact that they got laid off temporarily.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing that people are sleeping on, is it's not necessarily home prices that are going to dip like massively. Like, you're not going to get $1 million home for $5, but all the condominiums that are being sold on anticipation over the next couple of years being filled, those are the ones that aren't going to be filled. So a perfect example of this is back in 2008 with Las Vegas. Cosmopolitan, if anybody knows the hotel Cosmopolitan, and also Vidara, in that Crystals area. So it was basically Aria, Vidara, Cosmopolitan. Those three casinos, especially Cosmopolitan and Vidara, were supposed to be condominiums. So what ended up happening with Cosmopolitan was, when the crash in 2008 happened, everyone just pulled out and they had to turn it into a casino.
In order to generate revenue.
Correct, because all the people pulled out that they were supposed to buy them as a condominium. So that is going to be sort of the issue that I see with Toronto. Vancouver's starting to feel a bit of it right now, but not as much. But Toronto will feel that, because there's going to be people that are out of jobs that were trying to buy a condo that now can't afford it. So now that condo is not going to be built, because there's obviously a condo goes into the ground when you have about, I think it's like 70% of the condominiums sold, based on the fact that everyone's put a deposit down. It doesn't mean that the 70% that are sold have paid for the condominium in full. So it's that fractional banking system working in the construction industry, right? So you have 70% of people that have purchased a condominium. So if there's 100 condos in the condominium building, 70% of those condos have been spoken for. There's still 30% that haven't been sold, but the 70% that have been sold haven't been sold to a full retail price. They've been sold on a deposit price, which is usually only 10 or 15%, even less than that, because your mortgage is only 20% of the actual value. So it's probably 5 to 7% of your actual value of the condominium. So someone who buys a $500,000 condominium usually needs a $100,000 deposit for a mortgage or down payment, but they will only need like a $25,000 deposit to secure the property against the new builder.
Yeah. And what a lot of people aren't accounting for is that the government aren't going to bail you out as per se for a mortgage. They'll give you a grant of a couple of grand a month, but they're really only interested in private sector bailouts, basically.
Well, the other thing is too, a lot of people are talking about the mortgage and rent deferral in Canada. So the Canadian government has said you're gonna be able to defer your rent and your mortgage for the next few months. The issue is that it's just a deferral. It hasn't changed the fact that you owe the money and the interest doesn't stop. So you're actually paying now more money back on your mortgage because the interest doesn't stop and it's a deferral. It's not a forgiveness. So that's going to be the biggest issue, and that's what's going to be coming very shortly. I think a lot of people are underestimating this, and the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, they're the ones that subsidize or basically bankroll most of the mortgages. So they protect the mortgage industry for that's where you get the mortgage insurance. So if you're under a certain percentage threshold, they insure it. They're going to go belly up because right now they're already insuring way too much. The housing market's too high and people don't have the means or are on the financial tipping point. This was the financial tipping point for a lot of people because I mean, you don't have to, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. If people could barely afford shit 3 months ago, they can't afford it now. It's even worse right now. But people aren't panicking yet, right? And I've always used this as an example, and I talk to people about this. If everything goes up in price and you don't use those things, you don't feel it because you're ignorant to the cause, right? But if I go to a grocery store and an apple is suddenly $10 an apple, that's when I feel it in my pocket. And that's what people are starting to feel now is, oh shit, everything is getting removed. Like all jobs are being lost. I'm not safe at all. And it's just going to be a ripple effect at that point.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You know, if you're talking about the Canadian financial market, not housing market, sorry. With regards to Toronto and Vancouver especially, I was talking about the biggest overseas investors in real estate is China. What I meant to say is it's actually a municipality of China, Hong Kong. And if you see what happened with Hong Kong is there was a net migration away from Hong Kong because it's ruled by the CCP and they do a rule of law, not a rule by law. So it's like we do what we want when we want and you can't complain about it. So a lot of the money in Hong Kong is being moved away. And because the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the US dollar, a lot of the Hong Kong citizens were buying property around the world and especially in Canada in US dollars.
Yes.
And the Chinese Communist Party, they basically put a blanket ban over it. And that's why now you're starting to see in the mainstream media that Boris Johnson is coming out with regards to calling China a pariah state. And that's because the UK handed Hong Kong to China in 1972 or something like that. And we have an option to take back Hong Kong, I think, until 2047. And so that's kind of developing that can also impact heavily on real estate as well.
Well, the issue with the Hong Kong economy, if you look at the way Hong Kong is structured, China Life is the largest insurance company in the world. And a perfect example of this is a lot of billionaires were built on selling China Life. So representatives of China Life, like sales guys, are billionaires because of China Life. There's a good example of that in Macau. There's a poker game that goes on that's invite only, and a couple of the businessmen that play in that game are billionaires because of China Life. And to your point, Tashawn, that's exactly where a lot of the money's been generated, a lot of the wealth has been generated. And the reason why they buy up homes also is because it allows them a different investment vehicle where you and I, as an example, wouldn't lock up our money per se in a home because, you know, we can trade it or we can make more money. For them, this is another stream of income because they can go buy 3 or 4 houses and they're looking at this as a long-term hold because they'll generate, you know, 10 or 5 or 10% over the next, say, 5 or 6 years, and that's their investment vehicle. And all they're doing is they're using an asset-backed instrument to generate that return, where a lot of people that are, you know, I would say in normal circumstances are buying an asset-backed instrument like a home in order to live in it. They're not using it as an investment.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, those are little things. So like if you look up online, if you look up the largest life insurance companies in the world, China Life is the largest. And the funny thing about it is insurance and financial products, the spread to sell those products in United States and Canada is very tight. So sales guys don't make a lot of money selling financial services products in Canada and the US. And that's why a lot of North American institutions have moved out to Asia, because it's the same business model now, but the spreads are a lot wider. But the problem is Asia in general has never let the West in to sell financial instruments, and this is going to be the biggest Trojan horse in the world, which is coming. And I don't understand why people don't see this. Every time the West has brought something into Asia, they have taken it and made it better and faster and for less than the West. I mean, if you look at the auto industry, computers, everything, they've always created the product better than the West as soon as they've received it. And what they also do in Asia is they don't allow you to import the product from the West. They keep it and then they push their product back out to the West. They're a major exporter. So this is what's going to happen in the financial services industry. Asia has opened up that industry to the West, because what they're doing is they're creating a Trojan horse. They're saying, hey, come bring your financial services product from the West into Asia. We want to see how they all work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shut you down in about 5 or 6 years. And we're going to have all our companies here in Asia build the exact same products. And then we're going to ship them over to, you know, United States and Canada for a better, more cost-effective purpose. And that's what's going to blow up the financial industry again in the West, because now this is the first time in forever that Asia has allowed financial instruments coming out from the West, because Asia has always protected their own countries in terms of finances, and they've never allowed import in. And now they've finally done that. That's why every North American financial institution is moving out to Asia, and you'll see that in a lot of their prospectuses and a lot of their quarterly earnings reports, that Asia business is booming, and that's what they're structuring a lot of their earnings on, is the business in Asia, because the spreads are so wide for them to make money. Whereas in the United States, they've basically cannibalized or taken everything they could out of this population. Like, there's no room for growth here anymore. So
Yeah,
it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, 100%. Because like there's a lot of opportunity, and a lot of people are kind of asleep to the fact that whilst everything's been tanking, a lot of stuff has been made available to buy. You know, I feel like the reason why these countries decided to do the lockdown so slowly is so that a lot of these CEOs could realize the stock share gains, and in turn, what that's done is you'll see certain commodities now have started to go back up again. And I think, well, it's the writing's on the wall, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there you go. That's a little bit of side information compared to FX trading. So there you go. There's a few people in the chat that enjoyed that conversation. There's a few people saying, let's go back to trading. Sorry, we digressed a bit, but just a little bit of economic information for you.
Yeah, and they're like, where are the trades? Where are the trades?
Yeah, I know. I was reading the chat. That's just economic work. That's all. Those are your fundamental knowledge, information pieces that you learn about. But yeah, back to the trades. GJ will probably continue up in the next hour to 134,500.
This is some really strong area, 134, 300. So if you're still looking for GJ buys, if someone's out there looking for buys again, I would say you're looking for a retracement at support to be created and then continue moving up. See this, the 15-minute candle is retracing. That's why, because it tapped into this level. So if you look left, this is a strong rejections here before market close on Friday. So that's why it's reacting to this level. So you need a arc form right here to come up to retest the high it just created. Oh, very nice. Anticipation of 1 hour flipping bullish. Beautiful. Wow, looks like the entire world is compiling a stimulus package for the markets. This is kind of like having a trader who is losing, and then you say, here you go, man, here's more money, and go make all your losses back.
Even better is when someone's stuck like $30,000 in a poker game and there's only $50,000 on the table. Most of their money is on the table and taken by other players. He goes and gets credit from the game for another $50,000, hoping just to win his money back.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically it too.
That's basically what it is. That's what the world is doing right now. The world has lost so much money; they're bankrolling themselves to try and win that money back, and it keeps getting taken away.
I think they learned that from the last time, and they think they can continue and do it again.
No, I don't think they have learned anything, because it's these are just rookie mistakes. Oh, the market is falling. Let's start buying now, and it falls more. You're like, oh shit, it's falling more. We need more stimulus.
Did you see the German guy? I think it was one of the ministers. He committed suicide or something.
Oh, a lot of people are gonna do a lot of bad things.
Very bad, man. Very bad.
This year.
Yeah, I mean, right now what's going on is this is a big game of who has deeper pockets. The only thing is we don't know how deep the pockets run for the governments at this point. I think the biggest challenge that we have is, and this is the one thing I'm trying to learn, I've been trying to read, is we're not smart enough as a group to figure out how bad is bad, if you understand what that means. Like if they give out if the US government gives out $6 trillion in stimulus, that is bad, but how do we know how bad that is? Like what's the measure of that? Like how would you be able to determine that was bad? We know it's bad innately because you're giving money to something like Raja said, that you're throwing money into a fire pit. But what is the economic fallout? Because we've never experienced this before, and we don't know how deep the actual governmental pocket is, right? Like at a certain point, do they have like a stop loss to be like, hey, we can't print $20 trillion, like it's impossible? And they just haven't said that yet. Like nobody will come out and say, hey, my absolute zero is $20 trillion. We're at 6 trillion right now. If we inject another $14 trillion into the market, that's it, we're done. So that's I think the bigger issue, and that's where I'm scared because I don't know where the stop loss is with the governments. And I think that's where we all should be very scared. Forget about the markets going up or down. It's the stimulus packages that are being introduced. Those are the biggest concerns right now for me. It has nothing to do with the markets going up and down. The markets are moving up and down based on psychology, based on panic. But the stimulus packages, how do those get paid back, right? If the Dow loses 10,000 points in 3 weeks and we pump $6 trillion into the market to get that $20,000 back or that 10,000 points back, do we actually get it back, and who do we get it back from?
The other thing is, I think that when we start looking at Mad Max, we know shit's gone bad, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just very scary. I mean, for me personally, I'm watching from the sidelines. Like, I haven't really bought anything yet.
No, I'm not buying anything until I think things are going to get worse.
Mhm.
And although even a few of my friends have just bought stocks and things, and I said no way, I'm not touching it until I see a clearer picture, because all it's going to be is more printing, and then when people realize actually none of it's real, what's the reaction then? Because if this is bad, then that's going to be even worse.
I think you're right, and the reason or the rationale the reason why you're right and the rationale behind that is the fact that people are not understanding how long this is going to take to recover. We're not even in a recovery portion yet. We're still in a downturn in terms of virus, in terms of economics, and they're stimulating or pumping money into the economy to slow the downturn. You're still going to have to pump money in to build the push back up, because we're going to have eventually a flatten of this curve, right? So eventually this virus is going to go away. It's just a matter of simple probability and statistics. But how do you now get people going back to their job when they have no money to go back to their job? Right? A lot of people rely on public transport. A lot of people rely on other forms of transportation to get back to their job, and they haven't received a paycheck for X amount of months. They've received only a subsidy. So they've spent that subsidy just trying to live. So there's a lot of little problems that are going to sneak up on people. And I don't think the governments realize the mess that they've created by doing these stimulus packages so early, just to stop a free fall, which was mainly based on psychology. Pumping $2 trillion into the U.S. market hasn't done anything. There hasn't been a change. So what? The market recovered maybe 1,000 points, 1,500 points. What did they do? It dropped 10,000 points. So, you bumped $2 trillion. So with that being said, you basically need another $8 trillion to move the market up 10,000 points. But that $8 trillion is being pumped into the markets. It's not being pumped into people's pockets.
A little plaster on a big cut. What now?
Yeah.
This is a good example. So in 2008, when the crash happened, you can see for how many months NFP was super bad. So it took them a long time to recover from that. And I think this is just going to be bigger, because I think back in 2008, they didn't really expect it to happen. So when they kind of see it happening again, they kind of see it like, okay, if it's going to happen again, let's just pump money into the market so we can avoid it.
Yeah, what was it last time I said they put was it 1 trillion last time? I can't remember what it was now.
I don't know.
But we said the difference in money now to then. I mean, like as Ted just said, putting 2 in it, is it really going to do anything? No, not really.
I have a question. Do you think it would be in the central bank's interest to continue to print more and more money, because that has their debt notes out in the public and keeps more of a control over things?
The issue with printing more money is eventually nobody wants to buy it anymore. So the debt instruments that they're creating, at a certain point, right? Say for example, you have a gambling habit, right? You're a gambler or somebody that needs to borrow money. At a certain point, you borrow, like you can get credit from say 5 different people. So let's use this as a mathematical example. Person A makes $2,000 a month, and they're a compulsive gambler. So they have say $500 of disposable income they use to gamble. So they lose that money every single time. Now gambling starts to consume their life, and what they do is they start gambling more out of that $2,000. So what they say is, I need to borrow $500. And what they do is they end up borrowing $500 from 4 people. They can still make the $2,000 payment every month because they've only borrowed $500 from 4 people. And each of those individuals, those 4 individuals, don't realize that the money was borrowed, right? Because they're only assuming, like, Jack has lent Tom $500, John's lent Tom $500, James has lent Tom $500. So they know that Tom earns $2,000 a month. So if they lend $500, they're like, hey, that's not a big deal because he still should have $1,500 remaining to live, or he has $2,000 he makes per month, so he should be able to pay me back. That's effectively what the governments are doing, is they're borrowing all this money from multiple sources, but what they're doing is they're telling everybody that they haven't borrowed money from anyone else. Right. So Tom has gone around to each of those 4 people individually and said, hey, I need to borrow $500. And each of those people are independent and they didn't talk to each other. And then what ends up happening is when you go borrow enough money from enough people, you start to realize that you can't pay that money back because you're only bringing in a certain amount of income. And I think that is what is happening with a lot of the world governments, is people are catching on to the fact that, hey, they're already in debt and now they're borrowing more debt. This debt that they're issuing right now is worth absolutely jack shit because they can't even pay back the first set of debt that they have outstanding. And now they're issuing more debt on top of what? Like, where's their collateral to pay that debt? And people are wising up to that. And I think in 2008, it was an initial shock. And they're like, hey, let's just fix the problem. Now in 2020, it's like, this problem isn't going to be fixed by throwing money at it. And you guys are already in debt from 2008 and you finally recovered, but you're still in massive amounts of debt from that problem. And now you're going back into debt again for something else, and you can barely pay back the original debt that you're already in. So I think that's sort of what's happening at this point.
Ted, I have a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you were saying that for example, the US are just pumping money into the markets, approximately $2 trillion. So in the long term, will we see that effect on the US economy, as in, for example, inflation and so on?
You should, but once again, financial systems are manipulated, right?
Yeah.
So they'll use quantitative measures to prevent that from happening. So an example like Zimbabwe, right? There was like the $1 trillion bill or whatever it was. You know, a loaf of bread cost you like $1 billion. That government was not big enough or had enough financial means to suppress hyperinflation, where North American or first world countries supposedly have the tools and quantitative measures to suppress hyperinflation. Does it make sense to do that? Probably not, but are they going to do it? Of course, because everyone says they don't want the world to go to shit. But deep down inside, we sort of have to have an economic reset. As sad as it sounds, we need a Great Depression again. You need to have suffering to build. It's almost like when you have a fire, right? So if you have a forest fire wipes out a lot of the forest, but what happens is 10 or 15 years down the road, it regenerates, right? Everything grows back again. But if you try and, protect the forest as much as you can, and then, you try and accelerate the growth, you don't get the natural occurrences that you should be getting. And I think this is the hardest lesson for the world to understand, is we are over consumers. We consume too much. We've relied on material things way too much. We've created an instability that we've brought upon ourselves. We've created a fractional banking system that doesn't show the true amount of lending. Imagine being able to lend out just partial proceeds on the basis that you're going to get something later on. Like the whole idea of that is such a poor thing. I mean, you as an individual can't go on the assumptions. The only thing that you can buy with leverage is effectively a home. That's the only thing that you're allowed to buy with leverage is a home, where you can take the whole property, you can live in the whole piece of in the whole home by only putting 10 or 20% of the value of the home into the home before you move in. You can't do that with groceries. You can't go to the grocery store and say, hey, I'm going to give you $20 today. I need $100 worth of groceries, and I'll come back tomorrow and give you the other $80. And that system of I'll give you a little bit to get a lot back, the fractional banking system has now created a house of cards. And when that house of cards falls, which it's probably doing right now, the world will not have seen the devastation it's going to create based on our own greed, because that's essentially what's happened right now. We would not be in a financial crisis if the world did not have this greed and this consumption problem. We would be like, hey, well, we all bought what we could afford within our means. So, the fact that things have gone backwards, we're okay because we all have savings, we all have reserve funds. Nobody has that. Nobody has that. Everyone's just looked out for themselves and created this mountain of greed, and now the mountain of greed is falling, and the rich people are like, oh, whoops, we got to fix this because I don't want to lose my money.
So the entire world is basically over leveraged, and that this coronavirus situation has exposed the problems.
The over leveraging.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thanks.
You can do that with cars as well. Not to the same degree, because you still have to get approved for the financing, and a car is a depreciating asset also, depreciating liability. So it doesn't have the same idea. I think in terms of a home, as an example, I was saying it's basically, in theory, an appreciating asset, where you can buy a portion of that asset and still generate the full returns out of that. So as an example, if you buy a home, 3 years later, that home goes up in value, you don't have to clear that home for you to receive the value, the perceived value, or the market value at that point.
Yeah, bricks and mortar's the only one, really.
Llamas.
Llamas. unless you're a classic car collector, actually, they can work out pretty well, but not the same type of thing.
Yeah. It's basically, I mean, a lot of theories have come out right now and said that they're just going to keep pouring money into economies until they all survive, because a lot of the people that are making these monetary policy decisions are all going to die in 10 years anyways. So what the hell do they care? Like, a lot of the people making decisions aren't going to be around for the repercussions of those decisions. And that's the scary part. So you have people that are in their 50s and 60s, like these politicians that are making these decisions to dump money into the system, knowing very well that they won't see the fallout of their decisions because they'll probably be dead.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah.
That's the biggest theory that's going on right now, is they'll save the economy, but the next generation above us is just basically messed up.
Well, this is what we're saying about how long. How long is it going to take to get back to where we need to be? You can
exactly.
In 5-10 years, you don't know. Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, so I mean, it just sucks. I mean, I just feel really bad. For a lot of people, I think the biggest areas that we have problems with as a society is educating people about politics and educating people about finance, which are the two most powerful instruments in the world. And that's the reason why they have the least education surrounding them. Because if the average person, the average Joe, understood finance and politics to above a grade 5 level, we wouldn't have the issues that we have right now, because people would be more engaged in the political system to hold their politicians accountable, and the financial system wouldn't be the way they're in because people would be more financially literate and they wouldn't take the bullshit that they get from the financial sector. But because these two pieces of education, or these two industries, the political system and the financial system, are the least educated or the least discussed from a basic level so that people understand, that's the reason why we continually get screwed as a society, because you're not allowing people to learn the actual problems that are generated with a corrupt financial system and a corrupt political system, and people just become complacent.
Yeah, it's as if I don't want to like go against the decision, so I don't want to go, kind of disagree with the choices that are made, because I don't understand it enough.
Alright, what's this chart over here? Oh, wrong chart. Man, I get so excited looking at charts, but then saying wrong chart. Gold is running around with a... I don't even know what gold is. Gold's just waiting for NFP.
It's got a massive whip. That's what it's doing right now. Are you still in that, Ted?
Gold, yep, I'm still in.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah, I've been holding that now since the 24th. This is the longest trade I've held.
That's good. Whatever?
Yeah.
Really good work, man.
I just, it prevents, I've taken some trades in the meantime.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, it's really controlled my trading because I'm just like, well, I'm sort of okay with this profit. So I'm waiting for the breakout to like 1639. I know we hit it the other day, but I have a feeling that we should hit it again.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see how this week forms.
You consider an extra? You mean you took entries on this position already? You said, is that what you meant?
No. I traded GJ last week as well with everybody when we were buying GJ. But I haven't taken any more gold positions because the spread has just been too ridiculous. Like right now, the spread is 20 pips.
Yeah.
Do you think NFP will be priced in due to the anticipation of a terrible number?
My first inclination or my first thought is yes, it will be priced in. But then my next thought process is, how do we know what the number is actually going to be?
Yeah, how bad is it going to be?
How bad is it actually going to be? That's my concern. Is everybody knows it's going to be bad. So to your point, it will probably be priced in. But then the opposite argument starts is, how can any analyst in any institution predict how bad the economy is? Because we haven't gone through this cycle like this before at this pace. So the estimates, I don't know how you could estimate this. Like, how can you estimate how many people are going to die in the next 3 weeks? Or sorry, next 3 or 4 days. How many jobs do you think have been lost in the next 3 or 4 days, like from last month? Like, we knew that unemployment was 3 million or whatever the other day. Like, that was a shock to the system.
Yeah,
but
even then.
Yeah, how much worse has it gotten since then?
At that point, the predictions were like 1.5, 2 million potentially, and then it's just a banger straight out of nowhere.
That's right.
And it's like,
ooh. Yeah.
Well, we all knew it was going to be bad, right? So
yeah, so I think we might be in for a shock for NFP, and I think it'll probably be, obviously it'll be bad, but I think NFP will be easily traded once the news is released, because I think it's going to have a cascading effect. I think this NFP will probably be the easiest NFP to trade once the NFP numbers are released, because either way, the market isn't prepared for the number that's coming out.
Yeah, the market isn't prepared to the depth it's going to see in numbers.
It's gonna be really interesting, I think.
Because We've had negative 650,000, negative 530,000. They're expecting it to be negative 81,000.
That doesn't sound like near enough.
It's going to be way worse than that.
Yeah. That's probably today, and then tomorrow it'll be like.
Yeah, they'll probably keep adjusting that number.
Yeah.
That estimate will keep changing.
Yeah, I guarantee it. Yeah, I can't see it being that low. It's going to be a lot more than that.
So a lot of people are looking for buys on GJ. I would say wait for it to form some sort of support. Once it forms support, then you know that, okay, support has been formed, and then this high should be retested, and then you can take a buy and say, oh, perfect, we won again. So right now, just waiting.
So wait for it to pop out of there, and you probably need a candle. Once again, that looks similar to this. You want something that comes out of here, pops up, but it's still in this area here, and then you want the next candle to actually be above that zone to continue. That's ideally what you're looking for. I wouldn't be trying to take buys within here.
People need to understand that 4 hour closes in 40 minutes, very logical. So next one will open and most likely go down more to create the lower wick. That is true. That is exactly true. So if you look on the 4 hour here, this 4 hour is bullish. 4 hour created support. It's coming down from support. And if you look, 4 hour has a very, very high probability to go to 134, 500, 600, and maybe 700 too. So if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, if you look for buys, you're looking for supports to be formed. So you see 1 hour is bullish, it's in this range here. If you go to 30 minute is kind of like rejecting 134, 300. On the 15 minute, we have some market structure forming. So, you know, you want to see a support formed. I think we mentioned that 4 times now. I enjoy your streams, but it's unfair that you ignore someone when they have sent one chart that wasn't good. We're here to learn, but if people only get one chance, they can't learn. Well, there are 1,500 people here, and when there are 100 messages coming in at supersonic speed, things get, things get, what's the word? Things get...
overlooked.
Overlooked, yeah, overlooked. But you know, like most times when we see a chart like this, we look at the chart like, yeah, okay, looks good, makes sense. You know, this was actually a very good chart. I think this is a buy stop. Luke had.
We should have an award for like chart of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we chart of the day. So who that is.
Ooh, someone placed their first trade today. 30 pips. Beautiful.
So on GJ, what we're waiting for is basically a base to be formed here, kind of like some more rejection.
Oh, Mac, here's your chart.
Yeah, that's my chart, but you couldn't see it.
Okay.
I mean, you could look at it. Yeah, that's just gold. Waiting for a breakout.
There's a lot of noise
coming
from your end, yeah.
He's on reverb.
I think I'm on the, give me 1 second.
He's talking to himself in the stream. So, you know, when you're on the radio, you have to turn off your radio.
No, I'm not
Can you
talking
please
to
turn the
myself.
stream volume down?
Yes.
I'm not talking to
Can you
myself.
please turn the stream volume?
No, you want to hear yourself on the stream, and it's sort of like when you're on the radio and you call in, you're like, oh, I want to hear myself on the radio.
You sound awful.
That's where you get that feedback. So the guy on the radio says, can you please turn off the radio in your car?
I know, but I want to hear myself.
It's true.
I mean, yeah, it is, but I turned that off. So basically, what I'm looking at GJ is just this support to be formed, like Ted said, more rejection to the bottom, wick to the top, like that, or the body, and continuing up for the super target. Right?
Perfect.
So this support has to hold on the 5 minute, 15, and 30 for any buys to be valid. All right, so what kind of songs do you guys want to listen to? No, bad joke. Okay. We're on the radio.
See, so much waiting. We had such healthy discussions, and for price, just waiting. Had a big push up, and now kind of consolidating for probably another push. Raja, please look at EJ. Usually I'll say send a chart, but alright, I'll look at EJ. Next time, please send a chart. Okay, we're looking at EJ. Yeah, it seems like the 4 hour here is kind of like consolidating here, kind of like making a support resistance. 1 hour is, I mean, if you look at it, just creating this resistance on the 1 hour. We have a resistance here. Looking at the 30 minutes closing bearish. Just got to see if it closes below this support. If it closes below this support, it can continue moving down to maybe like, you know, this area is straightforward. Yeah, so 15 minutes also closing at this support here, you know, kind of like quickly whip up a simple analysis. It's like when you ask your mom, hey mom, can you whip a quick meal for me, mate? Mom says, yeah, sure, mate, I'll make you a quick meal. And she whips you up a quick food. So just like that, I whipped you up a quick analysis on EJ. That's support.
Oh my god. It's gonna go up.
Oh yeah, so look at GJ now.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're creating support. Candles close bullish. Just amazing. So maybe
you gotta stop there.
Yeah, maybe readjust this zone right here. Perfect.
Hercules. Hercules.
Hercules. Oh.
So tempting to take it on.
It's gonna continue.
Yeah, I'm up already.
Hey man, you really have to fix your mic, man.
Yeah, that's nasty, man.
Nasty.
Nasty.
Yeah, better now?
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay, what's this? US. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, this chart I saw earlier on. You had to buy. Perfect. You're still in buys. Looks like you can come up over here. Perfect. Ooh.
Yeah, I got in an buy of GJ.
Nice. GU 15 minute. Taking a buy over here. Stop is down over here. Yeah, I think a better buy would be above this yellow zone here. But since GJ is moving up, so I guess GU is also continuing bullish. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, it looks good. I think GU would be a better buy if this 30 minute breaks the high of the previous 30 minute to continue bullish. Up over here. That'll be even better. Oh wow. Pushing.
Wow, nice. It's nice.
For people asking how do you set your support resistance line, what time frame to use, I think you need to do some more analysis. There's a webinar we did yesterday, simulation session we did yesterday. Go watch that. It's going to help you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for the two refreshers. Very good.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And also, you know, like the one which Ted did, you know, because when you guys sometimes were talking, oh, the 4 hours about to turn bullish and the 1 hour is about to, and it always used to confuse me, as in how am I meant to keep track of every single thing and why? Because sometimes it's not obvious. Although it is obvious now, but when you're starting, the whole thing is like, okay, I've just got this candles bit which I've mastered, but why you keep on talking about the 4 hour, or why you keep the 1 hour? You know, it takes time to sort of get your head around all of those kind of things and get sort of work on the momentum kind of thing. Although it's obvious now that you're looking at the momentum, which way it's going to go, and also you know statistically that things have to create wicks and generate liquidity and then push up or push down. But it's hard to put it all into like one trading action plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you have pieces of puzzle, and the time frames are the puzzles. So you're trying to align them correctly. Like if the 4 hour here was bullish, then we drop down to the smaller time frames to see if we're creating support or candles are closing in our direction to say, okay, now we can continue to move up.
The other thing is it's a bit like Jumanji, because you're risking money at the same time as well, and you're like, oh shit, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah.
He said Jumanji.
Oh wow, we're at 1,500 viewers. We started with 20 viewers.
I gotta check a YouTube out.
Yeah, we started with 20 live viewers almost a year and a half ago.
And then we also got the ones in the Zoom as well.
Oh yeah, we got the ones in Zoom too. People in Zoom are special. They're special. They're all our friends.
Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Although I'm
you.
paid though, aren't I?
All right, take care, have fun.
We go.
Yeah, so see this candle's about to close here soon, and now we're making higher highs, higher lows. Candle that's closed above this resistance here as well. I mean, if you just look at it logically, it just makes sense for it to continue going bullish. Could you give a brief intro or explain the difference between this and your course? I'm sorry, I don't talk about my course on live streams. If you can't figure this out, then probably the course is not the right fit for you. Ooh, look at that rejection. What does it mean to turn into bullish? What does bullish mean? Is this a troll or has to be someone trolling? Okay, we're gonna just ignore that and just wait. If someone's new here, man, I'd say go read, go through babypiff.com. My basic education came from this website right here, babypiff.com. I went to education. No, actually, I messaged Ted, and Ted said go to babypiff.com. And I went over here, and then I did how to trade Forex, right? Because we all want to know how to trade Forex. And this is what I started. I started from here. What is this? Blah, blah, blah. I did that. I did all this. I did this. I did... I think I stopped at Fibonacci. And then I started to look at fundamental analysis, breakouts, fakeouts. Yeah, that was it.
So that's what we don't use Fibonacci's.
Yeah, risk management was also very important. How much trading capital? See how much trading capital you need. Drawdown, explain. Never risk more than 2% per trade. This is all what we say too every day. You know.
Every day.
Every day.
Because it's sensible, right?
Yeah. Margin call explained. Everything is there. Babypiff.com. Man, people underestimate. Yesterday I told someone to go read babypiff.com. They got pissed off. They're like, what kind of an answer is that? Just true. Scaling in and out. So much. This is all about trade management. Scaling in and out. Setting stop losses. Oh, they got 4 types of stop losses. Percentage stop, volatility. Yeah, I don't know much about this. Time stop. I think time stop is like when you feel like you've been in a trade for so long, you just close it. How to calculate currency correlations with Excel. Oh, that's something new. Most of the learning takes place when you sit down and look at the charts and analyze how you could have taken the trade. That's absolutely true. That is 100% true. You know, like most learning happens when you just look and watch. I remember this is my good friend Siad. Siad was trading GP CAD and I would look at his trades and I'm like, wow, man, GP CAD moves a lot of pips. Wish I could trade GP CAD. So I'm like, okay. And then I sat and watched GP CAD in New York session for about 2 months. I think it was October, November in 2018. And then I started to trade it and it started to work. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. It's awesome now. So now, you know, when certain things don't make sense, I jump over to GP CAD because, you know, I have a relationship with it now. Not a bad one. It's a good, like, average relationship. This trade needs to fly already. Well, this trade needs to fly if the 15-minute candle closes bullish. If you're in a buy over here, you're expecting the 15-minute candle to close bullish so the next one can continue bullish. You know, so see how this previous 15-minute candle here, it broke the low of the previous one, but also closed bullish. So this means it grabbed liquidity. Liquidity means it went down, grabbed some fuel to continue going up. And now this current candle, if it closes bullish, it's making a higher low and a higher high, which you can expect the next candle to do the same and continue going up. So then you have to decide that, okay, if I'm going to be in this trade, where is my stop loss going to be? Aggressive stop loss would be around right over here, below this current 15-minute candle. but like a good conservative stop loss would be below this wick here. And then you're targeting 134, 400, and eventually up to 134.550. How to discipline yourself in Forex. I have trading plan before entering a trade, but I break it most of the time. How can I fix this? Well, don't break your trading plan. I have a trading plan, but I break it. How can I fix this?
Yeah, stick to it.
Don't break it.
Or lower your lot sizes and focus on the skill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens to me a lot. When my psychology gets messed up, I go to 0.01 lots, I do it for the full week, and then I come right back to my regular lot size.
Yeah, man.
You trade with that emotions. You trade with that emotions at that point.
That's it, man. Understand the process.
Someone's trying to sell GJ. I think a good sell on GJ is going to be if you have a candle closing bearish. If you see a 30-man candle close bearish, that means the resistance has been formed and there's some room to drop. But since all candles are bullish, there are no sells. How much you lose in your earlier career in Forex, Mr. Raja? That is irrelevant.
I thought it was like $1 million.
No, that creates a stigma of like, okay, maybe
it's okay.
Yeah, it's like okay to lose. It's not okay to lose.
And like, oh, he lost $1 million. He only lose $500,000.
Pair for beginner traders. I think any pair is good if you watch long enough. USD JPY is pretty good. Euro JPY is pretty good.
Yeah, EJ is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what EJ is doing here. EJ must be rejecting that support. Yeah.
GJ needs to.
EJ is ranging here. If whoever's trying to trade EJ, you need to see a break above 119.500 to go up to 119.700, or you need a break below over here to go down here. GJ has just been bullish all morning. US 30 gave me 2K, then humbled me after first withdrawal. Yeah, that's what usually happens. Can you do a webinar on how to put a trading plan together? Wow. Mr. Raja, when are you sure that levels get broken? Well, this was a resistance here, and this resistance got broken, and you saw the 5-minute candles here closing above it, so that means that this resistance is now broken. And now when you look left, you see that the next time where the candles closed was at 134.430. Now you can expect price to continue up like 10-12 more pips. Are you buying or selling? That question is kind of like if you're standing at a bus stand and buses are going left, you ask someone, are you going left or right? If bus is going left, you go left. If candles go up, you buy. But most important before taking a buy is always know where your stop is going to be. Prasad, Pune, India. NEFT TMO traders here. Man, I think Forex is banned in India. You can't even trade Forex in India. Will US 30 recover the time original uptrend before Corona. 15-minute time frame shows series of. See now, when you talk about Corona, you talk about the higher time frame now. So you talk about like weekly and the monthly. You can't talk about 15-minute and monthly at the same time. Are you concerned that the 4 hour is going to close and form a lower wick? No, not at all. Because if 4 hour does form a lower wick, your stop is right down over here. If you have entries over here or over here or over here, right? This is your conservative stop loss down here. Maybe the way candles are forming right now, the 4 hour candle close push might take us up to 134, 400 or 450. Yeah, just had to say it, you know. 4 hour candle close push. Raja, I have an important question. I need advice. Yeah, sure. Ask away. Oh, wrong chart. So if you look at the 5-minute candles here, this 5-minute broke up, which means this one and the next one has a higher chance to continue moving bullish. Oh, whoa, whoa, where did these sexy ladies come from? Oh, hold on.
I just seen on YouTube, I'm like, what the fuck?
Who opened the gates over here? Oh.
It's a lucky day.
Wow. Oh no, hold on. It's hilarious.
Hey.
It's good fun.
Well, that's more followers.
Yeah. Bunch of nerds here are getting all the attention now from the sexy ladies. Seriously, that's all what it is, man. We're a bunch of nerds.
Indeed. Wow.
Especially when they start talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like it can't break above 134, 400. Trump's speech in 6 minutes. Ooh, interesting. Man, I was watching Trump's speech yesterday. He was addressing to the country, and he was saying something like that the numbers increased from 3,000 to 150,000 in 2 days. I need someone to take a look into that. He's like, how is that mathematically possible?
Seems a lot.
Yeah, he keeps speaking facts. He's like, where are these numbers coming from? Even he doesn't know what's going on.
Everything is exponential. You have 100 people infected, then those 100 people in 24 hours gonna get 3,000 people infected. Then the next 24 hours gonna be 60,000 people infected.
Wow.
Everything is exponential. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty impossible to stop that way.
Yeah.
I think they say one person can infect, was it like 2.5 people or something?
2.5 people.
Or something like that, or 2 people roughly, on average, something like that.
I think it was more than that, Chris. It was like,
Was it?
Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
Or was that here in the UK?
No, it was in the UK. Even there, they said something like every day they can infect like quite a few actually. I don't remember the exact figures, but it was quite a bit. Although my friend that was in a coma, he's come out of the coma, man.
Oh,
that's
nice.
Yeah. So he's a doctor in the hospital. So I'm really happy. So I'm in a good mood today, boys.
Good.
I give some free bitcoins away.
Now, to be honest, for me, in China, there's more than the numbers they show to the world.
Yeah, I bet.
Must be more than that.
You know, the funny thing about China is like we only heard about things happening in Wuhan, nothing in Shanghai or Beijing.
Exactly.
And when you look at the US, the entire US is falling apart.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing. That's why
Yes.
numbers in China doesn't make sense to me. If
Yeah,
US
that's why.
is getting so much infections, man, China must be worse.
You know, I was in China when this, WikiLeaks business leaked. And if you look at like the news in Europe and America, it was WikiLeaks. What was the WikiLeaks? What's that thing? The Panama leaks leaked, and it had some of the Chinese leaders in there as well. But on Chinese state media and any of the Chinese media, there was nothing at all. There was a complete blanket ban, and they're able to do that. I was trying to look for this, like, Panama leaks and this over there, but they had no idea what it was. And even when I was asking my Chinese friends, what's happening with this Panama leaks, and they just had blank faces, because they're able to control, the content so well.
Raja, my daily profit say $93. However, if you add subtract all the trades for today after commission, it equates to $106. My broker, yeah, it must be commission. It's very rare that the broker is going to be bad with mathematics.
Raja, so the R naught value, which is like the amount of people you can infect, is between 1.5 and 3.5 per.
Oh.
You're welcome. I thought it was 2.5 in the UK. Honestly, I thought I read it somewhere the other day, but it could soon get out of hand, though.
Christopher, you're looking at the GJ in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it, man. But I made a bit of a mess up this morning, so I'm just being cautious. I might wait to see what happens later today. London close, and then that's kind of got the weekend news out the way, and then look tomorrow potentially. I'm not going to compound any bad positions or risk like jumping in. I mean, if I'd not messed up this morning, I'd have a different perspective. But I went from having a good week to starting off with a banger straight off the bat. Oh man, fall from grace real quick. But yeah, now we'll see. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, looking at the 4 hours, it's really.
I'm seeing how this opens. It'll be interesting. That 4 hour candle's solid though.
Solid.
I kind of half expected a further pull, like a deeper pullback than that. But
look at that 30-minute too. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I heard some brokers are influencing stop loss hits. Is this true? No. Whoever said that, they suck at trading because they can't have a winning trade.
An excuse.
Whenever someone's bad at trading and the stop loss gets hit, they always blame the brokers. How come our stop loss don't get hit? I mean, brokers should be on the live streams here and should be attacking our stop losses every day.
It's plain to see.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen.
Let's just take them 1,500 people out. Right, let's just do that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take everyone out here today.
Yeah.
See, as we're waiting for this candle to close, this is not closing the way we wanted it to close. If someone's in GJ buys, you're probably closing 50% of your positions or managing your position because you want this level to hold. If this level doesn't hold, we might make a lower and then continue up. 30 minutes holding. Still. Oh, someone sent a chart. All right, first time sending the chart. Let's take a look here. Oh, wrong chart. Come on. Sorry, I'm new. Would you mind explaining the setup you're looking for, please? Yeah, so we looked for buys earlier on GPJPY. We called buys here, and yeah, that was about it. So basically, what happens is that once you come on the live streams, see us talking, obviously. Sometimes, when the trade is very, very, like I'm very confident in the trade, I call it out, put it on the chart, and by this time, I'm just packing up to leave and go about my day.
Go to the home gym.
Yeah, home gym. Man, this home gym is awesome.
You made the most of it.
Oh,
good idea.
Man, like I'm feeling awesome these days.
That's good.
Doing almost
Obviously,
like
you've got to stay active, right?
Yeah. I think in total I do like 100 push-ups a day.
Yeah, that's what I try and aim for too.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done 100 in my life.
100.
Ever.
And then my son jumps on my back and I'm like, all right, let's do 10 more. And,
Did you buy any equipment, Roger?
What's that?
Did you buy any equipment for yourself, or are you just doing
Yeah, I got a resistance bands. I have resistance bands, so now I just stand on top of them and put like a broomstick handle between them and try to do like bicep curls and shoulders and back. Have a skip.
Got to make the most of what you have, right?
Oh yeah, and it's awesome. Have a skip rope as well.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I went to Walmart the other day and they didn't have any weights whatsoever. Even like Amazon doesn't have.
It's gone. Everything is sold out.
Yeah, I borrowed some off my neighbor, so that's what I've been using, just dumbbells.
Yeah, the first thing people bought were webcams and weights.
Oh yeah.
I tried looking for webcams yesterday. I couldn't find them because people are working from home. They need webcams, Yeah, seriously, no webcams. Not even at Best Buy or Walmart.
I haven't looked at stocks, but I bet things like Zoom and that have gone up massively, right?
Yeah, Zoom has gone
I've not
up
even
too.
looked, but yeah, I'd assume that'd be awesome.
Anyone looking
Yeah,
at
if I'm not on Zoom here, I'm on Zoom with my work. We always have calls.
Yeah, that and Skype and stuff like that. I'm sure they would request.
Oh yeah, this looks good here on UJ. Ooh, EJ is now trying to go down. Yeah, EJ is bearish here now. Yeah, UJ looks good. Your candle closed above. Yeah. GJ 15-minute came back down. See now the 30-minute closed bearish, so it formed resistance here.
Yeah, I was expecting this 30-minute candle to close bullish, and the next opening of the 4-hour candle is just gonna fill that wick.
Yeah.
Pips, but nothing.
Yeah. So now if you're expecting the 4-hour candle to make a lower wick to fill the wick here at the top, you're looking for a support to be formed on the 30-minute time frame or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that support formation is going to be the lower wick being created on the 4-hour time frame.
Yeah, man.
What do you think about 33.8 going?
33? 8?
Yeah, 33.8, 4-hour.
4-hour.
As far as that?
Yeah, makes sense. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna it's gonna drop that deep.
I think it'd be worst case. I think.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. Yeah, but yeah, 134 flat should be nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Rejection from there because the hourly, all the 2-hour, the prior 2-hour candle broke above from the 134 flat. So if we respect 134 flat, then that's gonna be a nice setup. If we start some kind of support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But if we go more than that, then chances are we're gonna start going deeper and deeper. If we break 134, man, it's gonna go to 133, 60, something like that.
Yeah, could well do. Yeah,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
The other hour week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, how to get your stimulation?
Your stimulation package.
Stimulation instead of simulation.
Oh, stimulation.
Yeah. Are you looking at a rising wedge?
That's how much stimulation you got.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm looking for a rising wedge. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, EA is doing very well here.
Beautiful. See, this is liquidity zone here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is like hot lava.
Mm-hmm.
Price comes down and says, "Ooh, shit, hot lava, hot lava."
Yeah, I'm kind of disregarding that last candle, to be honest.
The bearish one.
Yeah, I just don't.
The dodgy bearish, yeah.
It kind of don't fit in my head. It don't fit, but obviously pay attention to it. But to me, that's like the end of the 4-hour stuff, you know. So it could just be like the whole pullback for that to create a wick. La 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 la.
Okay, ladies and gents, I'm off. Take care. Stay safe. Stay strong.
All right.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Yeah, man.
UJ. See, the thing wrong with UJ, not wrong. Your stop is going to be right over here on UJ because of the 30-minute candle. Because if this 30-minute candle broke out, you're expecting this candle to not break the low here and create kind of a support to continue going up. So you want it to respect the breakout candle.
You see, for me, usually I'm not looking for buys at all.
Okay.
To be honest, there's no way for me to look for buys on usually. Even though that previous 30-minute candle was bullish on this one. The way I see it, it's just forming resistance 108.26 to continue going down.
Theorists say that William Cooper revealed to the public that AIDS is a man-made disease. He stated that AIDS was created to eliminate the undesirable elements of society. What time is it? 9 a.m. All right.
Yeah, I'm about to head off just now.
Yeah, I'm gonna head off too here in a bit.
All right, gentlemen, have a good day.
All right, Vincent. Take care.
Take care, man. Well. UJ is about to break the previous 30-minute candle. It's going downtown.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Great stuff here, but your analysis on 15, 30 minute, why not 5, 30, or even a sorry newbie here? Yeah, I think because the thing is the 15-minute time frame is a confirmation time frame, right? But it's a weak confirmation time frame. The 30-minute time frame is a stronger confirmation time frame than 15-minute, but the only difference is that you have to wait a little bit longer on the 30-minute time frame. The 1 hour time frame is an even stronger confirmation time frame. So see this 1 hour candle, it didn't break the low of the previous one, which still makes sense for it to continue moving bullish. So, you know, this is a much stronger time frame, but the weight on the 1 hour is much longer. Oh, it looks like UJ is doing funny things here.
Yeah, man.
Wasn't really convinced on UJ either way. Haven't traded UJ in a while. It's been like a year and a half or something.
Me too. I started last week actually. Because the gold spreads are crazy, so I moved to UJ. Because UJ is moving nice. The two fundamentals is reflecting out. I want to see these dollars, the US dollars against the JPY going toward this week. I would like to see something near to the 105, 105, 104, 500s, because the weekly looks beautiful. Continue downtown. And GJ is playing games right here.
Rejection. Damn.
Yeah, I want to do something, some sort of rejection right there, 134.00.
Yeah.
Breakdown then. Oh man, we're going for the next week fill.
That's a strong rejection.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one was holding buys here.
Mm-hmm. You see the shadow that you have down there near to 133.751. If we break below the 134, then we're going for those 25 pips easily. And this is why it's really important to secure profits, you know, because you had this beautiful bullish move toward the shadow line that you had earlier this morning. If you don't secure those profits, trying to be a hero on those trades and, you know, book, let's say 50, 60 pips in one day, and you'll be in negative. That's why it's really important to secure profits in those areas. This price is not gonna move the same way every day.
The internet is a dangerous, dangerous place. I was on sells on GJ, but took me out at break even. Oh, too bad. Would have been a nice trade. GPJPY is time to buy? Question mark. No, not right now, because like candles are bearish. Can't buy right now. You would want to see a support formed to take a buy. USDJPY buy? Question mark. Well, candles are bearish. You can't buy. I think EJ also fell, right? EJ. Oh yeah, it did come down. See that? Mom's cooking. Whipped up a quick analysis on EJ. Yeah, I think, man, if there's a 30-minute candle closing bullish here on like right after this candle, it'll be a nice buy on GJ. Probably by London close or something like in the next hour.
Yeah.
Things change in so fast. Like if someone was looking for buys here, this 15-minute candle was confirmation to just like, you know, maybe just close and then just dropped. Instantly things just reversed. "33rd degree is the highest degree in Freemasonry." Oh.
That was what I was afraid of with GJ, is because we never really broke above here with a proper candle structure, we were going to go back into that zone. That's why you can't take trades when the candle just pops out over here, out of the zone. You need to wait for the wick to be away from the zone to then move. This was your only confirmation up, but then it pulled all the way back into the range. So, no good.
Ooh, someone sent a chart. So what we have here is GP price made a high, create support, have a buy stop of the bullish candle. Yeah, looks good. I think your stop is going to be down over here then, if this is current. Let's take a look here real quick. Oh yeah, it makes sense. 15 minutes. Makes perfect sense. So now if GJ is dropping and GP CAD moves up, if GP CAD moves up, it's been driven by the weakness in the CAD, not by the strength in the pound. Oh, my friend.
GJ is going down.
Yeah, man. I thought it might come on that 4 hour. Just got to wait.
Yeah.
See what it was like at about 7:50. I'll see what's going on. If we get that far. Otherwise, I won't be doing any more today.
Sell temptation. Well, no sell temptation. Oh, GP CAD moved up. That was nice. See, the CAD is weak.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little setup.
Yeah. See what GU did. Oh, GU is just ranging. Do you guys have a target you aim for each day and minimum just happy with your week? Well, this is what I got today, 20 pips. I just had one trade, had a GJ buy earlier on, and that was about it. Can you look at my gold chart? Yes. Send it through and we'll take a look at it.
I think the other thing is too, Raja, you're smart. Today's only Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you shouldn't be looking to hunt trades unless there's a very, very obvious opportunity out there. If there isn't, I wouldn't be getting involved on a Monday. I haven't even taken a trade today. I mean, I was looking at GJ to buy to go to 140, 134, 500. It didn't materialize. It doesn't mean that it won't materialize this week. It's just, as a trader, you have to understand that the beginning of the week, you don't want to put yourself in a position of losing because now you're chasing the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's information day.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like I said, unless you see a legit setup that you fancy.
Yeah, and I mean, there are instances where, you know, the Friday move carries over to the Monday, but I think because of the last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of volatility, and we've had a lot of big moves with a lot of the major pairs. We're having a little bit of a lull for the first week in February, essentially, or first week in April. Because I mean, that's what this is. This is the first week in April, so we have to just take a breather for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh. I think this will be what? 107. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd say you'd want to see a retest of this broken support to take the sell.
Yeah, well,
Very
that's
much.
going to be a big stop loss otherwise.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
much better. Wow, look at that rejection. It's awesome. See, now I'm not going to be here, but if the next candle, kind of like the 30-minute, if it forms kind of like this, a bullish candle, and that'll be a perfect confirmation to take a buy. And that'll be to correct this move coming down. I have to do a leg workout here later on. Gotta figure out how to do it. Is GJ building the support on the 5-minute? Possible, but you would want to see, ideally, I would want to see a 30-minute candle closing above 134 if I'm going to take a buy. Wow, GP CAD was a nice trade, to be fair.
Yeah, if anybody's holding that trade from some low areas, it's in a beautiful trade.
This one right here.
It's gonna continue moving.
This mister had a buy stop here. Played out very well.
Yeah.
Why don't you like trading on Mondays? Because it's the start of the week. You know, it's the start of the week. You can trade Mondays, but the thing is, you can't really put a lot of risk on Mondays. Because if you put a lot of risk and you take a loss, then psychologically you want to make those losses back on the first day of the week. So there's no point in playing catch up for the rest of the week for the losses you make on Mondays. Same thing goes for Fridays. You know, like most of the people don't want to risk a lot on Fridays because they don't want to lose profits on Fridays.
Yeah, I think to your point, Raj, I put in the chat box there too. When you look at your trading as a journal and you look at your wins and losses, you're going to find that there are instances where you do predominantly better on certain days because the market just trends better. There's better opportunities. And if you start collecting data that you use when you trade and you start looking at your journal and scrubbing that data, you're going to find maybe Wednesday is your best day, or maybe Tuesday's your best day, or maybe Friday's your best day. And you as a trader should be using those data points that you collect based on your own execution and your own way of trading to then leverage your abilities. A lot of people, like I did on the refresher over the weekend, a lot of people just trade with no consciousness of why they're losing trades other than, oh, it hit my stop loss, or, oh, this didn't go according to plan. But if you take a deeper dive into your journal, you'll start to realize that there's probably patterns there that you can avoid. Because I've been trading for a while, the things I noticed in my journal was I was having a hard time on Mondays and Fridays. There were Mondays and Fridays that I did really well, but in the long term, I wasn't as profitable as I was in the middle part of the week. So I learned to reduce my risk and also my opportunities on Mondays and Fridays to say, hey, if I don't see something that's absolutely in my textbook of plays and of textbook of ideas, I'm not even going to attempt it because there's no benefit for me doing that. I've proven that over the last 3 or 4 years of data sets that I've collected with my trading. And that is something you as a trader need to build for yourself. And that is where experience takes over. And that's where in 3 or 4 years, the people that are on this live stream right now will turn around and say, well, Raja and Ted were just teaching the basics. Because you will have learned so much that you think this is very simple. And the truth be told is after you've been trading for 3 or 4 years, looking at the same thing every day, it does become monotonous. It does become simple. It's not we have a crystal ball or we're geniuses. It's once you do the same thing, repeating yourself over and over and over and over and over and analyzing so many charts over the years, you're going to realize that what we are doing is easy. And the reason why you couldn't do it the first time or the first 6 months of your trading career was because you didn't know what you didn't know, if that makes sense. And once you start to realize what you don't know and correct what you don't know, the ideas or the lack of knowledge starts to disappear, and suddenly you start to realize, hey, if I just keep doing the same thing over and over again for the next 6 months, 8 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm going to make money. And that's where, for the most part, hate or ignorance comes from, you know, and from social media, is people turn around and say, well, you guys just do basic stuff, support and resistance, different zones. And it's true. That's all there is. But it's the nuances and how to adapt to these situations in the market that differentiates yourself from a profitable trader from an unprofitable trader. You know, like looking at this GJ candle drop and go up and down and do things. There were probably people trying to take trades. I sat out. I'm okay with that because I know later on this week there'll be opportunity. I'll find something. I'm not concerned. But as a new trader, you know, you have your $100 account or $200 account. You're pressing it because you're in a time crunch. You believe that, you know, I got my $200 account funded on Sunday night. It's now Monday. I need to try and make money for this week because I need to prove to myself and to the people that are doubting me that I'm actually good at this. And once you get the comfortability with trading and understanding not every day is an opportunity or not every day is a setup, or some people may win and you may not even take a trade, and you become comfortable with that, you'll start to realize that, you know, trading is individual and it is what it is. And your $200 account isn't going anywhere today, and you're not going to turn $200 into 10,000 today either. So why subject yourself to that risk unnecessarily? And you'll find over the next couple of years, there'll be a whole bunch of experts. I guarantee you in 2 years from now, there's probably going to be 10 or 12 live streams that are going to be available. And they're all going to be attacking this live stream. That's what's going to happen. There's 2 or 3, you know, like even Chris's live stream for the London session. There's going to be people coming up and they're going to say that London session sucks. My London session's better. It's
yeah, it's already started.
It's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to see, and the evolution will be people will team up with brokerages and they'll do live streaming, live trades. The brokerages will give them commissions or kickbacks for, you know, people trading on that brokerage, and part of being on the live stream will be your affiliation with one broker, and you can't come onto my live stream unless you trade with this broker. It's the evolution. I already see it coming.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. We'll see you still here in 3 years. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen because people aren't making money selling courses anymore because it's too hard to sell courses. So what are they going to do? They're going to create a live stream, do a few trades a day on a live stream, and tell everybody to sign up with that broker so that they can get the commissions off those trades, which is fine. I mean, it's a business in itself, but that's where the economics of this live stream is going to come from because there's going to be a saturation. And people like Raja and people like Chris that have started these years ago that have a base won't lose their base. Like Rakeel's not going to lose his following. He's not going to go down to 20 viewers suddenly. But the people that are trying to start out will be fighting for viewership because they won't realize it took Rakeel 2.5 years to get to this point. they'll want it in 3 months. So that's the future. I already see it. I've already looked at it. It already makes sense from a monetary standpoint. You already see the shift to people doing live streams, live trading. Look what I can do. I can do this. I can do that. It's only a matter of time. And I mean, people will look back and they'll be like, "Wow, Ted was right." It's like, well, no, it's obvious. Like, just take a look at the landscape. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
Yeah, you just look how many people will give up as well when they realise they actually do it for free.
Yeah,
and there is no monetary gain realistically.
That's
I mean,
right.
YouTube do pay, yeah, but it's not as if it's going to be life changing. It's not that you can live off that at all. I mean, $100 over 3 months. That's not kind of going to pay my bills. But yeah, you'll see in 3-6 months time how many people start and then just vanish. Because there's a lot more to it than just doing a live stream. I didn't even take that side into account, the amount of people that contact you and the discussions. I like to get back to most people, to be honest, but I kind of have to spare a bit of extra of my time in my day. Think, you know what, I need to put an hour in now and actually get back to people, because it's, kind of gets out of hand a little bit, which is good though.
Yeah, I mean, the longevity. I mean, I've watched people come in and out of trading and teaching and whatever. The people that are good-hearted and that actually care about what they're doing, like yourself and Rakeel, you guys will always be around. It's the people that are looking to try and grab income. I mean, you just look at the internet. I mean, how many people put their courses up for sale every month? It's almost like rents do. To me, if I wish like I was a little bit more caring of what people were doing, because I would literally map out a calendar of when people put things on sale and correlate that to economic events, whether it's rent being due, whether it's a holiday, whether it's a birthday, whether their lease payment for their car is due, whether they're getting a new car and they need a down payment for that lease. I think that if you did that, you could probably map out everyone's birthdays and Christmas holidays and Boxing Day and Black Friday events for buying gifts for people, because literally there's a direct correlation between a holiday, a particular part of the year that things go on sale, and then suddenly a month or two later, new flashy things show up, or magically I've gotten sick of this one car and now I need a new car because it's time for an upgrade and time for a marketing proposal. So I think but people aren't savvy enough, because what ends up happening is it gets lost in the shuffle, right? We have such a short attention span as a society. You just like, oh, whatever happened 2 months ago, I don't care. All right, good.
Yeah. It's just longevity that's the important bit. You'll see. It will come.
Yeah. So I mean, but I think if the internet gets smarter, and the idea is, not bashing what people do, but just making sure you hold them accountable, right? I mean, if someone wants to lease a car every year, I have no problems with that. But don't tell the general public that it's time for an upgrade because of X, Y, and Z. Just say that your lease is up and you want a different car. Like, that's okay. Like, there's not a problem with leasing a vehicle, but don't play it off as if, oh, it's time for an upgrade and look at me go. And it's like, no, it's not time for an upgrade. Your lease ran out and now you just want a different car. Like,
I've just had a really good week.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we're happy that you're getting a new lease for a different car, or it's it's a sale right now for coronavirus. It's like, no, it's not. You're taking advantage of people. Like, so it's just.
I've seen a lot of that. I don't like that.
So I mean, it's just things that I notice, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it's insecurities with people, but I mean, like, I'm happy that people get a new car every year. Like, I mean, if that's cool, like, I mean, that's what they want, great. But don't play it off like you made the money for that you had like a banner week last week, and now all of a sudden you're putting down $400,000 on a car.
Yeah, I did buy a new car this week.
No, like just don't do that. And I mean, we as a community, you don't have to insult them or call them out, but don't support that idea. Don't acknowledge the fact that they got a brand new car. Don't like that post. Kill the noise by not going to the noise or not appreciating the noise. And I think that's the biggest thing you can do. Like, I mean, 3 years ago, I tried to be internet police. It's not worth it. There's no money in being there's no money to be the internet police, because the internet doesn't even police itself. So what's the average person going to do? Like, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
I thought I could make a change. I can't make a change. I know that now. I was stupid 2 years ago for trying to do that. So now I just don't engage with those people who I believe are not doing things of service for others. And like I told people the other night, someone messaged me, I rarely like any posts. I rarely comment on any posts. For the most part, I don't respond on my wall if someone posts something unless it's something they have a question. It's how you kill the noise. Don't engage. Don't like people's posts just because you're on Instagram today. Like it because there's actual value there. Don't click on it because you think you have to. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's how you shift the paradigm. Is when people get a brand new car, I look at the post. I don't like it. I don't engage on it anymore. I used to say congratulations, but now it's used as a marketing tool, and I don't believe in that. If you bought your car because you genuinely enjoy it, that's great, but don't use it as a ploy to say, hey, I did really well and now I'm rewarding myself.
Yeah, my eyes got open massively in the last year and a half, 2 years on social media. I was so naive to everything.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at all these cool people. Oh, he's doing really well for himself. And then it's penny drops. One time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate, but I mean, that's that as a group, that's all we can do is you shift the way things change. Like Rakeel shifted the whole education industry by saying, hey, I'll just do this for free, and he still does boot camps where he gets paid for it, but you can show up here every day and you can learn. It'll take you a little bit longer, but you can learn for free. So now it's destroyed anybody that was trying to offer an imaginary course, and that's just evolution. It's just, that's how things happen. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's good to see though. You can see the amount of people you actually touch, if that makes sense. There's so many people now, even though I've only been doing mine for such a short period of time, the amount of people that get in touch is unreal. And even some of the comments they say about how looking or watching or listening or talking to others in the stream has really made a difference to them. That's awesome. That's all you need, It's really good.
Oh, GJ is dropping.
Yeah, I think about here would be a good place to watch. See if it kind of does anything.
Yeah.
Just looking on 4 hour. This was the level I kind of wanted to look at on 4 hour, but I'm not sure. Like you said, it's Monday. I messed up a bit this morning.
I think a buy above 134 200 will be valid on the way up. 134 200 all the way to 134 900 almost.
I was kind of looking above the wick of this current kind of, kind of there actually. It's about the same place, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to take that sell because of
I don't trust the sell either.
But 134 was an easy target. 134 to 132 750 was an easy target. We talked about it earlier. If we break 134 flat, then we want to move to 133 750. The problem is the volume. Somebody said it earlier that they were wondering why GBP is moving, getting strength with GBP this week. But I mean, and this is the first day of the. I'm sorry, it's the first day of the week. So
yeah, that's the main thing.
In a weekly candle, we should have a pullback, and then maybe tomorrow we're gonna have a decent push.
Yeah. Were you for that 200 level tap? Were you looking at them 30-minute candles to the left with the big wicks?
I was actually looking at the higher time frames.
Well, yeah, I was playing on 4 hour actually, but
yeah, that's what I'm playing off of too, because you have that rejection at 200, which doesn't make sense right now. This 4-hour candle to me doesn't make sense. The bearish candle, when we've had bullish momentum, it just seems like we're tapping back into that zone.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I mean, we're kind of looking at that. About where we are now would be sensible.
I'm gonna try to be up tomorrow, but for London session because it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think so, dude. I'll
decent push on GG tomorrow.
I'll be interested to see how it plays out over Asia and then into London.
Exactly.
Just pre-London would be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah.
But like I said, today's today. I don't want to compound any more mistakes today. At the minute, I don't really see a good option of taking any kind of buy right now. Like I said, 200 and above, I think would be sensible, but this could pull back down for a long time yet.
Yeah, I'm off. Hey, buddy.
I'm off.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I'm off.
Buddy. Have a good day, man.
All right, take care, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you tomorrow, lads. Bye.
See you, bud.
Stay good. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah,
Love you
Shakira,
all.
bye. Love you.
Shukriya. 7, 8, 6.